Hey guys, this is Sarah Elena. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first video, I help people move to Costa Rica. We help people kind of figure out, well, is the country even the right fit for them? And if you're gonna really make this big transition, you're probably gonna need some help. So we are definitely your people. If you need that, you can find information down below. And in today's video, I'm gonna talk about why are some of the reasons that people leave Costa Rica. But first, if you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to go check out the rest of this channel for lots of information. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I do release new videos. A lot of times I'll do area tours and just general information that you really do need to know for your move if you're really going to be considering doing this for yourself. And I do have to note something about one of my brand new programs, which I'm really excited, but it's March 14th. We just came out with it about less than 2 weeks ago, and I already have 15 people enrolled. It's a do-it-yourself move to Costa Rica. So we do offer one-to-one services for people who do need a lot of hand-holding, really the whole process before, during, and after the move. But I did notice that there's a lot of people who kind of want to do it themselves, but they still want access to our expert advice, which you definitely get through the entire course, like a ridiculous amount of information, but also our step-by-step process. I'll actually create your roadmap for you for how you're going to format your move month to month, depending on your timeline and your logistics. And we do have 12 weeks of weekly meetings with me. So just to make sure that all of your questions do get answered and that you do kind of get to form that sense of community, we do get to go through the program together. And when questions come up, you do have my assistance as you go through it. So definitely check out the link to that below. It is the DIY Move to Costa Rica program. It is my most affordable program that I offer because I know people are on a budget, you're moving, and if you want to do it yourself but have all of our pretty much expert help, then that's one way you can do it. Okay, so let's get into the material now that we're done with that. So I was at the expat retreat last week, and I did an amazing, amazing video with Pablo, who does customs and shipping, and Michael Allen. So you've probably seen Michael Allen's channel. He does the Travel Costa Rica Now. I will link his channel down below too. I'm sure you've heard of him. If you've ever been on YouTube looking at Costa Rica, he's probably popped up. Anyways, we did this fantastic video about, why do people leave Costa Rica? We're going to have to redo it because the sound quality, I got home, went to edit it, to upload it, and then the sound was horrible. You guys basically, we could hear Pablo, but couldn't hear Michael Allen, which had amazing tips and, a lot of insight to offer on the topic, and you couldn't really hear me either. So unfortunately, we will have to refilm that, but I do want to make sure, I do think it's an important topic to talk about, so that's what we're going to talk about here, but we'll definitely refilm that video. So number one, homesick, missing family, missing culture. I do see that happen sometimes. A lot of people are trying to get away from where they're coming from, because they're sick of it. They don't want to be there anymore. They want a whole completely different lifestyle and a change. So they end up coming to Costa Rica. And over time, people can feel a little homesick. You can start missing friends, family, kind of your routine. Even though it is an exciting process for you to be moving out of the country, it is normal to have those feelings of maybe grieving an old life that you don't have anymore. Some of you might be saying, Sarah, you're crazy. I can't wait to get out of there. I will never look back. If that's you, then I guess don't worry about this one. But it is something common that I do see. Number two, I would say would be intercultural differences. In addition to you moving, to Costa Rica, you are moving into a completely different culture, a completely different language, a completely different way of doing things. So for some people, that can be a really big adjustment. And if you kind of don't wait it out, sometimes you have to wait it out. Or maybe sometimes people do wait it out and they say, you know what, I've waited it out, I've tried, I've put in my best, this just isn't for me. So just be aware that obviously you are moving to a different country. There can be you're going to go through a lot of changes, and you're going to have to learn a whole new way of doing things, a whole new way of communicating with people, and a whole new culture. So there are a lot of cultural nuances that, we can get into future videos to kind of further explain that for you. One point that Pablo mentioned was, well, maybe differences of, because he does shipping, so he'll ship everyone's things here, but guess who they call when they want to ship all their things back to where they come from? They call Pablo if they used him to get here. And sometimes, he noted in the video that he'll have stories about, well, people have gotten divorced over it. He said that in some cases, let's say the husband loves it, the wife doesn't. Husband wants to stay in Costa Rica, wife doesn't, draws a wedge. One of them might end up leaving. Or he said, the marriage is strong and let's say husband doesn't love it, wife loves it, but the relationship is important. So the wife has agreed to leave the country, you know, to appease the other partner in the marriage, and they ended up leaving the country because of that. So that can happen. Maybe different family members, family dynamic, someone really not liking it. Maybe one person does, but sacrifices have to be made so that, you know, both people can be happy. I would also say, well, changes in family. So let's say, well, we've had, let's say, retired people move here, and maybe their children start having babies back in the home country, and they want to go be closer to their grandkids. Or maybe other situations, people have family members who are sick or need extra help, so they have to move back to, you know, assist with those kinds of things. So that could be another reason that I've seen come up as well. Number 4, I would say, well, I guess that was kind of number 4, number 5, wherever we are, unrealistic expectations. So a lot of people do come down here on vacation. They have the most magical times of their lives, and they think that moving here is going to be the same. Not quite. So obviously, you know, vacationing in one place and living in the place full time is completely different. That's why I do encourage people to come down on scouting trips. Again, not to go to zip lining and go lay on the beach and drink pina coladas all day, to really look at, okay, what would my day-to-day look like being in this location? And really thinking about daily life, daily challenges that come up, and making sure that you're going to be okay with that. Because there are challenges to living here, but it really just depends. You know, are those challenges of living here, what outweighs more? For me, the positives outweigh the challenges. So I love living here, but it doesn't mean that I don't have challenges. Absolutely. Challenges come up, of course. But I would say adjusting your expectations of the country, how things work here, how long it'll take you to get adjusted, and just maybe some of the challenges that you'll face. But so for some people, they may say, you know what, the challenges don't outweigh the positives for me. I want to go back, or I want to try somewhere else. Next one would be life changes. Sometimes life just happens. Like I said, different family dynamics, health concerns, which we'll talk about in the next point, maybe changes of income. Maybe you worked remotely, but then you lost that remote position. So just life changes can happen, which is a reason why some people might leave. And healthcare and coverage options. That's why these are so important to look into prior to moving, making sure that you will be fully covered for the kind of healthcare that you do want. And, you know, unexpected things can come up with healthcare. So just making sure that you are covered. You kind of do have a plan. If something serious came up, you know, what would your plan be? Would you go back to your home country to take care of whatever that health concern is? Are you able to stay here? Do you have the right insurance coverage to cover certain things here? But that's another reason why I can see some people do end up leaving Costa Rica. And one thing that can happen is, well, you might have not budgeted correctly, or kind of landed yourself in the wrong area and then thought, well, you know what, I can't afford to live in Costa Rica. So that's why proper budgeting is really important prior to moving. You do have to have a very, you know, good, solid budget in place, and that's not something that you can just go to Facebook and ask for, hey, how much do I need to live in Costa Rica? Because it really does depend on so many things. When we do work one-on-one with people, we do have like a budgeting template that we go through with them. Or actually, I just did this yesterday with someone. We actually went through their budget. I can ask them questions about their lifestyle and, you know, very particular things on each of these points, so that we can actually put together a realistic budget. So I would say budgeting, improper budgeting could be another reason as well. And that'll kind of be the last reason that I'm going to list here in this video. But kind of as a summary, you know, people can get homesick, changes in family environment, changes in employment, changes in health, you know, just challenges that may come up where the person just decides, you know what, this isn't worth it. But I will say, so we have, you know, moved hundreds and hundreds of people here to the country. Occasionally, yes, someone does go back. Or maybe some people already said, you know, I'm going to come and try it for a year and see how I like it, and then maybe return after that year. I will say, out of everyone that we have worked with who did end up leaving, all of them did say, you know what, we're leaving, but we're so glad that we came. We met amazing people. We had new experiences. Like, we added this amazing experience to our lives. And we really, you know, at least no one that I've talked to personally regrets their decision of having come in the first place. So either way, you know, life is fluid. Life is full of changes. Sometimes people ask me, will I live in Costa Rica for the rest of my life? I don't know. I mean, right now I could say yes, but if in 20 years from now, for some reason or another, it doesn't make sense for me anymore, it's a struggle, it's just not working anymore, I'm not going to force it by any means. As of now, yes, I'm very happy here. I'm very rooted. I'm not going anywhere, but I don't know what can happen in 20 years from now. So that's kind of the point. That's just how life is. Life changes can happen. And no matter what, you know, if you come and then you decide that, you know, it's not for you, It's not a fail whatsoever. You know, you took a huge step. You did something really cool with your life. I'm sure you gathered new experiences and you learned a lot about yourself. And I think that's always worth it. So I hope that this video is helpful for you. Definitely check out the rest of the channel. Check out our one-on-one programs and our new DIY Move to Costa Rica program. And you can always book a call down in the link below too.